In Fiji, the military dictator Commodore Frank Bainimarama has been continuing what he calls his clean-up of the government. For the Parliament Secretary-General Mary Chapman, one of the country's longest-serving senior government figures, that's meant the end of her 40-year career serving her country. She was sacked after she tried to keep armed soldiers out of the Senate this week. Mary Chapman has been speaking to the ABC's Philippa McDonald in Suva.
I came out, I spoke to the sergeant and the army sergeant, and he said, no, the Commodore wants the House to adjourn now. I said, they've got only a few minutes left. He said, no, he wants it to adjourn now. So I thought it was prudent for me to go straight to the President and advise him, which I did. Told him that I think you better adjourn now. And they were on the last speaker, and it was just about, it would have taken about, say, another 5-10 minutes before the House would have adjourned. But it was sort of disrupted there, and the President just adjourned the Senate.
What did the army do?
They didn't come inside. They just told me to advise the President to adjourn the Senate. So I went in and advised the President to do that. So I had expected the President to at least wait for the member who was speaking to finish up that sentence, but he sort of just came in. I think got a bit excited as well. And he adjourned the House. And then they escorted the President out. They came out. And then I went back inside to advise the members to go home. And that's when the army, came in, followed me into the chamber on the floor of the House. And then I said to him, no, you're not supposed to be here. You're a stranger, so please, but I will tell the members to go home. So which he did. And then I told the members to go home.
You've been sacked. How did that happen?
Well, it was just yesterday, in fact. I think when they came to the Parliament and they addressed the letter to me. They had a batch of envelopes already, but they hadn't been addressed, so they came to my office and then they addressed. So, terminated forthwith. And I think a few other people got the same.
What's it effectively done to your country?
Well, we'll have to go back to square one now. A lot of things are going to happen now. I feel quite sad, particularly children. This is Christmas, You'll have to start thinking now whether you should spend this much for Christmas or not, and keep some money for the kids' education at the beginning of the year. So that's kind of, things you think of. So that's really a tragedy.
How intimidated are people feeling?
It's not like the 2000 events, where people are scared to really go out. I know I advised my cousins, my nephews, and especially the boys, please think carefully about going out in the evenings and drinking. Particularly when you go out in the evening, you drink. There's always a tendency to have, cause arguments, maybe with those on the roadblocks, and that could cause a lot of problems. Everything's sort of just simmering, like nothing. I don't know really what's because I think they need to quickly put in place the new interim ministers and all that. So, because at the moment we really don't know what's happening. Maybe today, tomorrow.
Do you think there's going to be any real protest movement against Commodore Bainimarama's coup?
I doubt it. People are just going to take it. No, I doubt there'll be any protest.
Why?
It's, you're sort of against people with guns, and when you have guns, you are a more powerful one, I think.
The former Secretary-General of Fiji's Parliament, Mary Chapman, speaking to Philippa McDonald in Suva.